Hey guys, it's David, and well, I've got a bit of a problem here. At my base, I was looking around it, and you know what? There's just not a lot to it. I've come to the realization that there's only three major structures here. I mean, if we go into our camera mode, we've got the barn, we got the house, and this doesn't really count, the portal. But then we got the slime farm. So I don't know how high we can go, but if you look around here, that's about it. There's not a whole lot to the base. So I'm thinking it might be. I'm kind of struggling to figure out what projects I want to do. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I should build a few more things in this base, kind of make it a little more lively, make it more of a complete build, especially. Want to get into kind of the decorative building. And what I was thinking, perfect thing for a swamp build would be a lake. Or not really a lake, but a pond, I should say. I mean, we already have, kind of this area right here. A little bit of a pond that's, kind of part of the river. I think, some like a separate pond somewhere in here would be a really nice way to make this seem like a little more interesting, a little more complete. I kind of always wanted to do one. I think they're very, very nice. That's definitely a little bit of flavor, but the first struggle I have is where am I going to put this? Because, right here, we have this sort of edge right here. I was kind of thinking right here in between the desert and in my base, the start of the house right here. It could be a potential spot. It would definitely be something people would see if they're coming to the base from the village. There's also potential of just putting it right over here, kind of set back in the kind of near where this portal is. The nether portal, which would give me a bit more room, make it kind of a little more secret. Maybe I'll have to put another little pathway. Though I think we could maybe put a little something to make it look a little more intentional. Kind of lead players back. At least give me some room to do something a bit bigger. Trying to fit it in here might be a little hard, though it would kind of make it so this area is a little more intentional. Because as I look around it, you have these areas that have been terraformed, and you have the areas that don't, and there the areas that aren't are kind of plain. So it's something that could use some work. Make it a little more exciting, a little more welcoming. So there's two of those things to consider. So that's the first thing I'm struggling with. And then, of course, the building itself. I want to get some fish, tropical fish in there. Frogs would be fantastic. Kind of do up like we've got in here. We've got some tropical fish kind of swimming around. I think if we build it, it'll naturally start to populate, which is going to be very nice. Then, we'll have to figure out how we're going to build it, what kind of decorations put in, and I think that's going to be the exciting part. Part I definitely want to get better at is kind of build ideas to make things stand out a little more. Kind of in general, I'm thinking like how do I want to terraform the ground around here, because we have this sort of path, but the rest is basically just rooted dirt, mud. Could we do something to make some of this look even better? That's something I'm gonna have to consider, because I don't want it to be so busy it kind of takes away from the parts that I want to, the sort of lines I want to lead people in along, with this path. But at the same time, I want to kind of spruce it up a bit, take away from like these big open areas of just plain dirt. You know, I definitely have to redo this area because it's just, you know, I just did over the parts of the lake with the rooted the mangrove roots here. And of course, you know, this has just normal like torches around it. It's very plain. I think we could do something to kind of really make it stand out, look better, exaggerate it a bit. And of course, I don't want to bring up the barn again because I've almost done two things, but I really want to make this barn stand out a bit more. I think it's a little too flat with how I've done it, and I'd like to add some more color to it. So there's definitely some things to be done here on the base to really make it look complete. Maybe do something with this too. I need a little more. Kind of like the idea, but it needs something else. So that's on the docket for this project. So let's see how it goes. All right, so we layered in the vegetation. I still think I'm gonna go through and add a little bit of texture here, some different colors for the mud. Like I think I'm gonna need some mossy cobblestone that I'll put in here. Maybe some deep slate. I'll have to think about it. Got some mangrove roots, rooted mangrove blocks, you know. Boom, boom. Oh, got the small drip leaf as well. I don't know how glow like we're looking here. It's not too bad, to be honest. I'm gonna throw a little of that in there. Won't be too bad. It kind of gives it a little, a more organic feel. Of course, well, I'll put the drip leaf in after I remove the, after I put in the other stuff. So, this is how the first kind of layering the process works. At least my process. I get the shape down. Then I probably should have done the sort of texturing of the changing of the thing first with the cobblestone and the other stuff first, but it's a little bit out of order. I think, you know, as far as making it as efficient as possible. But hey, sometimes you just gotta flow with it, you know? Go with the flow. Enjoy the process, and that's kind of what we're doing here. So, I will be back after I finish this up. After I finish, you know, this thing. Alright, guys, we are back, and take a look. We kind of got a little bit of the layering and the path going. Got the grass down, some flowers. Making it look pretty, and here we go. Got in here. Got some color going on. Some black, green, a little bit of white. Only thing I'm missing, I think, is, you know, we need some brighter color. I want some brighter colors in here. And I might add some, like, coral fans. Excuse me. I might add some coral fans in here. I think, you know, adding tropical fish, like some brighter tropical fish, is also going to help the color. And maybe try and add some frogs in here. We'll see how easy it is to get them in. Now, most right now are white. You know, they're just kind of white frogs. So maybe like a green. Oh, no. Probably orange would be the best color, but maybe a little difficult to bring them in here. So I may just stick with the fish to add some color along with some, like I said, some tropical fans. And we'll see how that ends up looking out. I think I also want to try a few accessories using some colored glass and candles to make these sort of like cat lilies. So we'll give that a try. But again, I will be right back, and we'll see how this next layer adds to it. Oh, guys. Let's take a look. We're back. And man, let's hit the camera mode. Look at this. We added in the coral here. I think that gives a nice little like color. Doesn't look too... I was kind of worried that it looked a little too off. But I think once you remove it from the coral thing, it just, you know, kind of looks like a flower. You know, like just a colored plant. Adds a nice little color. I wish the things didn't like school the tropical fish, but I think that's just their pattern. I really like the way these looked. I don't know if you've seen these sort of like when you get, this is glass panes essentially, lime glass panes stacked up, and then you put a brown candle on top. I think they really look a lot like cattails, but you know, it's really neat. I really like the effect it looks. Only downside is you can't put them near any sort of mud, you know, any sort of wall, because they'll immediately like try and extend to that wall. It's just, you know, just sort of the pain behavior. But yeah, we added a bunch of this stuff in. It looks really nice, I think. Really good. The only thing I kind of didn't add is some of like the leaves, but I don't think it really needs it. I think it's got enough on its own. I think this ended up looking really nice. A little extra like area. We got a little path. Kind of extends to it. So you got a little pond. So yeah, it's a nice little like fishing hole if you want to do some fishing. But yeah, just another sort of place on the base. Another sort of object, you know. And then I think I really want to try and maybe kind of extend over here. It's going to be kind of a challenge because I don't want it to lose a sort of mangrove swamp look of it, the forest. So I don't want to, I'm a little worried about clearing out too much. But I also want to make it like look like something. I think one of the next things I might want to do is something with bees, kind of like an apiary. Because we have a little bee farm over there to make candles and honey blocks, but we don't quite have, you know, it's a little simple. It's not automatic, so it not going to produce a whole lot. I like to have, you know, a decent amount readily available. I still need to modify this thing too. I'm thinking about how to do this, you know, make this look a little bit nicer. The barn a little less flat. But we'll work on that later. I really like the way the house looks, though. I think that turned out really well. It's, you know, simple in some ways, but I think, you know, with the porch and the fence and the colors, it turns out it's a nice, simple build. You know, it doesn't need to be grand. It's kind of like a swamp house, so simplicity is, I think, a virtue in this case. This is just, I think, a little bit too flat, a little too plain. Just need to add a little bit extra more. I think it'll look nice. But to kind of like re-look, let's take another look at the at our creation here. I think this turned out nice. Maybe a little terraforming around the place could help it look a little better. It's almost sort of like reset in the recessed in the back of it, kind of like a hidden pond, which is kind of cool. Maybe a little small on the small side. I could have cleared out a little more, make it a little bigger. I still haven't quite decided what I want to do as far as some of this, kind of how to break up the mud in a way that looks, I think, makes it look a little more natural. And a little more interesting, but we'll have to think more about that. That's all in due time. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. And maybe this gave you some ideas on how your own base and your own pond. And I will talk to you next time. Goodbye.